All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this meeting to order, the Mayor and Board of Commissioners for April 24th, 2018. Will you rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Pearson?
Here.
Commissioner Warnick?
Here.
Commissioner Braun?
Here.
Commissioner Arthurleith?
Here.
Mayor Marion?
Here.
Let the record reflect that all of the elected body is in attendance.
Thank you. Will you bow your heads with me for a brief prayer, please? Father God, I come to you tonight on behalf of our town, on behalf of our citizens, God, and on behalf of our elected body. I ask for a hedge of protection over all of us, God, as we are here tonight. I ask that you watch over our law enforcement, that you watch over our firefighters and EMS, God. Be with them when they're out on calls, and put a hedge of safety around them, God. I pray for our military, God, that you are with them as they serve overseas and here at home. Be with us as we leave here tonight and gather again. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. All right, so we have nothing for an executive session, no reports for that. So our first presentation is to the Rising Sun Little League. And I wanted to preface this donation with, we were recently honored by Chesapeake Employers Trust as the longest policy holder that they have for over 100 years. We are blessed to have them as our insurance policy holder and also to be able to call them partners in our community. They came to us and said, hey, we really want to give a $1,000 donation to a worthy organization. And we couldn't think of a better organization to give this to than the Rising Sun Little League. The effort that you guys put in as volunteers for these kids is amazing. Every single year you see, not only at the Little League parade, but at our Little League Field Diamond, how packed it is, and with families, with children, and we are blessed to have you here. So Mike Richardson, if you could come up and accept this check on behalf of Chesapeake Insurance Trust and on behalf of our town. I can't thank you, all of you guys, enough for what you do. So thank you.
And in the past that has been the case, but until recently it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
We are probably one of the biggest youth organizations in the town, and it's great that I know all you guys, and we've worked great together. Chip, 5 o'clock in the morning on opening day, talking to each other, make sure we have a break. I don't even want to talk about Augie.
Yeah, I got to be Travis Marion for 30 seconds.
Yes, well, that's good. That's good.
He's the only one that talked though.
Okay.
No, Augie.
Not Augie,
He doesn't
not
pass
Augie.
up a chance to talk. But we greatly appreciate this, and this will get good use for the kids, because it seems every year Little League wants to change the bat rules, and we buy all new bats, and then the next year they're no good. So we have to turn right around and buy more bats, and we just went through a whole reprocess of putting all new equipment on. So this is going to come in handy. We greatly appreciate it.
Well, as volunteers, like I said, I can't thank you guys enough for all you do. Thank you so much,
you.
and for coming out. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So continued success to you and your team. Thanks to all of you
Thank
for
you.
coming out tonight.
I don't believe anything your buddy told you, guys.
All right. So we have one more donation tonight, and that is going to be to our local zoo. And I want to preface this with, we are blessed to have an attraction that gathers thousands of people so close to our borders. Plumpton Park Zoo really brings in an attendance, and we are very excited to work with them with economic development on bringing those people into our town. Whether it is to shop at our shopping centers or visit a local restaurant, we are excited to work with them. The work that they have done to bring the zoo back to life has been amazing. When Cheryl contacted me and said, we found a female giraffe that Jimmy would be able to partner with, we said, what can we do to help? I'm blessed, and I think this board is blessed to have a great relationship with Plumpton Park Zoo, especially Commissioner Authrenreith. I know his wife, Donna, constantly is there working on different fundraisers for them. But this money is going to go to good use to bring in, hopefully bring in a female giraffe to not only have attendance potentially balloon, but also to have the town of Rising Sun more involved and to have that economic driver just outside of our border. So Cheryl, if you could come up and accept this donation on behalf of the town of Rising Sun. And like I said, we can't thank you enough. When the board came together for this last budget cycle, you were first on our list. And we are excited to see what you do with this. We are excited to see that female giraffe. We all expect to have that invitation to come see her as soon as she comes in. But thank you for all you do. Thank you for all the volunteers, what they do, and for what your husband has done for Plumpton Park Zoo. So thank you. Thank you.
And this
That's great. That's awesome. She just said that it puts them over the amount that they need to be able to go
we
get.
have secured her,
Oh, that's amazing.
so by the
That's great.
mid-May, we will have her here.
Perfect. Perfect. That's amazing. We're super excited. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's great news. Thank you so much.
All right. So we don't have any business meeting items on tonight. So Chief, if I could get citizens input, please. Thank you so much. All right, and we don't have anyone on citizens input to speak this evening. Would anyone else like to speak this evening? Okay, we're going to move into Chief Peterson's report.
Did I ever tell you baseball is my favorite sport?
But
Some things in life you just gotta pass on.
There's your chance.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Board of Commissioners. During the last 2-week period, we responded to 135 calls. The officers wrote 34 traffic stop citations. They had 68 hours of training. They attended meetings for community service. They attended meetings with the Cecil County Public Schools. Okay, I've got to slow down. To make sure that we are passing out the same message when there is a crisis or some type of event at a school. In the past, there's been conflicting stories coming from police agencies and the school board. Not us, but we wanted to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we met, talked about it, and made sure that it will not happen with all the agencies. The officers also worked the Rising Sun Middle School Tiger Trot. The event, the attendance was low, but it was a great event. And one of our guests finished very high for his age. I again see that event growing because people really enjoy the 5K. It gets difficult because we have so many people wanting to do different services in town. So when the police officers and the fire police are out directing traffic, be patient, help us out. A lot of these events will go quickly, and you'll be on your way. There's no need to berate us. Just make sure you, take your time and avoid the area if you need be. With that being said, there's no other incidents that I should report on, unless there's some questions.
About how many participants did you feel that were in it?
This year was about 60 participants for the run, as my estimation.
I think there's 79. I got
79?
This is single out number 13 out of 79, so I know. Just to count my
Close to 80. We'll say close to 80.
Okay, I believe the judge. That is my report.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Town Administrator, do you have a report this evening?
Yeah, a couple of items for you. As you know, we're in the middle of our budget process. Last meeting, the town passed the resolution to keep the tax rate where it's at. We're going to continue to try to operate within the revenue streams that we historically collect here. The economic development, as you can see next across the street, the pending coffee shop is methodically moving along and doing a lot of exciting things. They have the brown paper over the window because they want to surprise everybody, and it is going to be a surprise once they open up some of the decorations and facades that they've done on the inside. And you can see they poured the concrete out there, and that little patio is for, some early summer evening, dining out, sitting out on the little patio there on Main Street. It's going to be decorated with, I believe, a black wrought iron railing around it. They are installing a fireplace, an electric fireplace on the inside. So it's going to be exciting to see it finally get to open up. With that, and I apologize, I'm putting him on the spot, but if you wanted to say a couple things about the traffic study, about the timing of it and what we're doing. And let me introduce Mr. Tom Delourmier from KCI Engineering, and if you can go up to the podium. Mr. Delourmier is one of the engineers from KCI, and as you recall in last year's budget, we talked about doing a traffic study in order to be prepared for the economic opportunities that we think are going to start to come to our town are going to bring traffic and other things to our community. So we wanted to do a traffic study to try to anticipate where there are some points of congestion and maybe some improvements that can be made. And this will also put us in a position that in the past, the town has had land development projects that have come to the town, and during that short process of meeting with the developer, we have sort of been in the past trying to figure out what some of the traffic issues might be. We decided to be proactive and do our own comprehensive traffic study so that when developers first start to talk to us about doing development, we can be giving them information on the front end. And let me tell you why that's important. If you talk to any developer, they know there's a cost associated with developing. And as long as they know those costs on the front end, they're fine with it for the most part. It's like if you went to buy a new house and you secured a mortgage, and then right after before you move in, you find out you have a whole lot of other things that you have to do. You would have liked to have had that in your mortgage and be able to finance it. Well, developers are the same way. And a developer will pretty much do anything you ask as long as there's logic behind it, and as long as you give them that information on the front end of the project, as opposed to going through all the meetings and at the last minute come up with an idea that you want something done from a traffic standpoint. So we're trying to be proactive and do our own traffic study. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Delourmier, who can talk about the timing.
Okay. We've been anticipating doing traffic counts here for about the last 3 weeks. But between the snow, when we almost started, and the paving that's taking place right now, we have held off from doing the traffic counts until the paving is done. So I have had it scheduled now for about 3 weeks, and it's basically Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we will be counting. And we have 18 intersections that we're going to do counts in the morning from about 6:30 till 9:30, and then in the afternoon from about 3 to 6:30. So we will be doing the peak hour counts. The goal is to basically do these counts before school is out and when we have normal traffic conditions within the town. So you should be looking forward to seeing that as soon as the paving is done, and we will be doing 2 to 3 intersections a day once if the weather's clear. If it is raining, it's not considered a good time to count, so you will not see us if it's raining. And after those counts are taken, we will then be doing an analysis of what how that impacts the town, and that will be being done by a bunch of traffic engineers that we have on staff. So I'm responsible for getting the counts done, and I have others that will be then doing the analysis. If you have any questions, be happy to answer any questions.
Can you elaborate, what are people gonna see when you talk about a traffic count? What are they gonna see?
What we do is there will be an individual at the intersection, and they will have a counter, and they will basically be taking everybody that enters that intersection, depending on where it is, they actually record that. We have electronic counters that basically keep count, and those counters are then downloaded and graphed and so forth, and the data is then stored that way. So you will see somebody, they will probably be in their own personal vehicles on the corner, or they may be in a chair, depending on the weather, but they will be somewhere near that corner taking the counts and keeping track of the traffic that's taking place at that intersection during those times.
Tom, this doesn't break down what type of vehicles, it just gives us a general.
No, we'll have passenger vehicles and trucks.
That's,
Okay, so we will keep track of that, the turning movements. As anybody enters the intersection, they will be, are they going through, are they going left, and whether or not they're a passenger vehicle or a truck.
okay, thank you.
Tom, will you be working with the chief so that when people see somebody different standing around on the corner and all, and if they call our police department, he'll know that KCI's people are out there?
I've already talked to the chief, and we will be having, also, I should point this out, there will be, the counters I have out there, we will be giving them information, a letter basically, to who to call, and myself, Calvin's on there, the chief of police. It will basically be an official letter. If you have any questions, please call these people, and those letters will be available for anybody that walks up to one of my counters.
Excellent.
Sure.
Thank you.
Travis, I'm sorry, Mayor, there's one thing that I think would be good to utilize Tom while he's here, because we've had the complaints on Facebook, the truck traffic on Main Street here, coming up 273. Tom, if you could just echo the conversation that you and I had with Will Mapko a while back
Okay.
about the ability to notify the GPS companies that provide GPS and navigation systems for truck drivers, what we could try to do.
A few months ago, Calvin and I went and had a conversation with Will Mapco, which is the planning organization that takes care of Cecil County, Newcastle County, and basically they orchestrate all the funds coming into the county through federal dollars and Maryland, state and Maryland dollars. So anyway, with their transportation planner, we were talking about where Rising Sun was going, and the conversation came up with concerning the trucks. And what they relayed to us was that they have found, and they've had success with this, that oftentimes the GPS companies and so forth actually direct people different places, and in doing so, they can have conversations with them to try to get them to divert around Rising Sun and around this intersection where there's problems. So they were saying they do have some kind of clout. We wrote a letter back to them. I have not followed up with them since then to see how successful they were, but they were working on knowing what the problem was and then somehow trying to resolve it at their end with the mapping companies that have input into GPS units.
I might suggest to the board, if you guys want to formally echo that, to, give KCI the direction to stay on that, to try to see.
I would
if
definitely
we
say
can get
that that's something, speaking for the board, that we're interested in. So if you can continue to keep track on that and potentially get back with us, that would be
Okay,
great.
very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is my report. Before I start my report, I want to say I'm very excited to be back in the town of Rising Sun. I want to say a special thank you to Commissioner Auchenreith for chairing the meetings while I was away. Before I made this decision to leave the town for a job opportunity, training, that I had spoken to all of them, and I was able to stay in touch not only with our town administrator, but also with a few of the commissioners to have a good grasp of what was going on. And Rising Sun was in great hands. So a big thank you to all of you for everything you did while I was gone, and to all of our different departments, the chief, and to our Public Works Department as well. Moving into my report, I wanted to say that I recently attended a play, Mary Poppins Jr., which was put on by the middle school and high school. I did this past weekend with my fiance Joe. We both really enjoyed it, and the kids put a lot of effort into it. They did a wonderful job, and we really have some talented artistic kids in our community. So I just wanted to say great job to all of them. Also, a big thank you to the chief and all the work that he did with our Tiger Trot 5K. We had a great turnout for that. In addition, I am proud to say that one of the schools that I visited for If I Were Mayor for a Day contest is now in the semifinals. The Tome School had a winner that was chosen and moved into the semifinals. So a big shout out to him and the Tome School. And I'm also going to be working on a lower level with our local elementary school, Rising Sun Elementary and Conowingo Elementary, on doing a contestant to come and spend the day with me here at Town Hall. So I'll be working with them and the chief on the details for that. Main Street revitalization, as our town administrator said, it's moving great. I would say that the gentleman has really spared no expense with revitalizing these buildings, and we are blessed to have him part of our community and to invest in our community. I'm excited to see what they bring there with the coffee shop and with the building connected to it. And as soon as they are open, you can guarantee that we as a group will be one of the first to go and visit it. I also wanted to recognize special guest, Judge Will Davis. Thank you for coming out and visiting us tonight at our town meeting. And thank you for all you do within our community. So moving forward, Commissioner Auchenreith.
Okay, I want to cover a few things tonight, so bear with me. First, I wish Mike would have hung around because I want to say a few things about the Little League. Past couple of years, I've been able to participate in the opening day parade, and we have a ball. Me and my wife and the commissioners all riding together, tossing out candy, and that's a lot of fun. And the past couple of years, because I don't have kids or grandchildren playing in the leagues here, I don't really know the magnitude until we go to that event. So even though we were able to make a donation tonight that was given to us through a third party, for the size of the kids they support and serve, Mike and his team, all the hours they put in to that, they need more support. They need, anything you can do for them to help them support these kids, because they had a outfield full of kids at opening day this year, and it was cold. It was very cold that day, and didn't affect none of them. They were having a blast, and Mike and his crew recognize fundraising, and they give us some awards and stuff. So we were very happy this year that we were able to collectively decide to pass that on to them. Also, Cheryl, so glad to have Plumpton Park Zoo here tonight. You guys have done so much out there how many years have you owned that now?
This will be our 8th season.
Just 8 years. And you have totally turned that around out there. It's so good to see that parking lot out there during good weather. You're using the overflow lot continuously. You have so many different events that were never there before. Your Zombies at the Zoo. My favorite brew at the zoo. May 19th is brew at the zoo.
Yes, and another in the fall.
And another in the fall, great. Because usually in the summertime when you hold that, we get a dry summer until you hold that event. You and the Fair Hill, the county fair are usually what bring thunderstorms. So I hope this year it's not.
We say that every year.
Oh yeah, and you have painting at the zoo.
And painting at the zoo, and we have this weekend we have Pirates at the Zoo.
You have pirates at the zoo this week. So we know it's we're great. When you opened Jimmy's house, we were out there. It was good, so good to see that, and all the other buildings that you've built out there. I remember when, is it Frankie and Ringo, when they were born, we stood in the line to touch a baby bear. So, but we know the food and the medical day-to-day operation of running that facility is taxing on you. So we also, we were so glad to make a little donation tonight, and that is coming from the entire town and residents of Rising Sun, not just the board and mayor here tonight. So we're glad we could do a little something. Feel free to come anytime when we have a meeting, a public meeting, and talk about what you have coming up. We have this videotaped, and we have a lot of people that watch these afterwards when Dennis posts them up. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for coming to Sunfest every year and bringing some animals. It's always a big hit. So we hope we can continue to support you. And when people come out to Plumpton Park Zoo, send them into Rising Sun when they're done to eat.
We absolutely do that, because someone wanted to ask, where do you eat around here? 3 miles that way.
Yeah. So we're gonna, we've got some great restaurants in town. If they need gas, they can come into town and get gas and groceries. We have a lot for
Our
them.
attendance is over 80,000 now,
Wow, that's amazing.
and we're gonna need a bigger parking lot when that. Yes, we will.
Yeah, and we look forward to you expanding. We know that that's in the future, that you and Nick have a lot of plans out there, and for economic development reasons, if you're maybe be outside of town limits, but you're part of the town of Rising Sun. We claim you, you're ours. So we want to see you succeed as well as helping us succeed. It's a good partnership. So thank you for coming tonight, and continued success. And if anybody wants to continue to donate, they can always use that. They need help out there. They got to feed them every day, and there's a lot of food out there. So, and we can't wait. We can't wait for an event that you're going to have when you get Annabelle. Is that her name?
Her name is Annabelle.
Annabelle, the new giraffe.
We're actually making plans to go get her. We are close enough. We're not to our goal. We're hoping we'll be at the goal by the time we go get her. If all plans work out well, she will arrive the day before Brew.
Outstanding.
Yeah, Maureen's to get a ticket, but she will be going into quarantine for the safety of her. She's going to be obviously very stressed from traveling cross country.
Right.
Transport for a giraffe is pretty pricey in itself,
Yeah.
and it's a long ride.
Yes.
She's coming from the West Coast.
Yeah. And you need financial support for that too. That's not going to be cheap to move a giraffe from the West Coast to Rising Sun. So we wish you the best on that.
All right, thank you.
So.
Well, that's
Oh.
what we're doing. That's precious cargo. We're going to fly
Yes, it
out, we're
is.
going to watch her get loaded on, and Nick's going to drive back with her, make sure she gets here safely.
Well, we hope everybody comes back safely. So also, this week it was our turn. Last week it was our turn to host the quarterly MML Hartford Cecil chapter, and our friend Jim Eberhart from Perryville is retiring. He's done a great job with the Hartford Cecil chapter, and he brought 2 gentlemen this week from Maryland Transportation Authority to tell us some background about the wind event, the bomb cyclone that happened back in March. So they really shared some great information with us about the closing of the bridges and what a catastrophe that turned into. We all know, anybody that got stuck on it. And they think that was a 100-year storm because it blew over some trees that were over 100 years old. And that really, it was a learning experience. Hopefully they don't have to go through that again. But they put on a great presentation about what was going on with that bomb cyclone. So last time we had our meeting, we had a mess up on our scheduling. We didn't have our video guy, but I talked about on Sunday, May the 6th from 1 to 5 p.m., the Freedom Hills Therapeutic Riding Program over in Port Deposit is having a family day on the farm. So they do a lot of great things over there for both adults and children. So I highly recommend you go over and visit them. They're another place that really needs donations and help over there, because I think they help a lot of adults and children out free of charge. So if you can, go over and support Freedom Hills. That's Renee Dixon over there. We all know she's kind of famous for the house that was built over there a few years ago, but we don't want that to overshadow what she does with the therapeutic riding program. So another, Augie, were you going to talk about the drug drop-off National Day on the 28th?
Yeah, he was. But you can right now.
Well, there's a flyer. It came out at my work as well as through our email. Got drugs. You need a place to get rid of them. They're going to have a big day on the 28th to turn them in, Saturday the 28th. Find a location New Year. We're one of the locations, but not just on the 28th. You can come any day, contact the chief or any of our police officers if you've got leftover prescription drugs or even over-the-counter drugs you don't know what to do with. You don't want to flush them down the toilet because they eventually are going to go into the Octoraro, and we don't need our fish and live, all the animals in the Octoraro and Chesapeake Bay on Oxy or Percocet or anything like that you may be getting rid of. Ibuprofen, baby aspirin. So you don't have to do it just on the 28th. If you've got any kind of medicine you need a place to get rid of, you don't want to flush them down the toilet, contact Town Hall, contact the chief, contact any of his officers, and they'll take care of it. We have a box downstairs that the chief procured a couple of years ago before this program really took off. He was ahead of the game on that. And you can bring anything in there, vitamins, over-the-counter, anything. It doesn't have to be some kind of.
sharps.
Except
Take needles. I won't take needles.
no needles.
However,
no-
the main landfill in Northeast will take your sharps. So,
Cool. So another big thing leading up today, we got our notice to proceed to the contractors for our water line. And this has been 11 years coming, Calvin?
Over a decade.
12.
So that went out today. Next week, we're going to be doing a little ceremonial groundbreaking to thank everybody involved, to let a lot of the business community and residents with big properties know that Rising Sun Travis is what now? What's our new catchphrase?
We'll be open for business.
Yes. The water and sewer moratorium has stifled the growth in the town of Rising Sun for years. Everybody knows we went into debt, built a state-of-the-art sewer plant, which has been up and running, and we needed more water. We couldn't count on the groundwater in this area to support growth. There was just not enough of it. We've had, in the past 13 years I've lived here, 3 that I remember mandatory water restrictions because we're not the only ones with a straw in our underground aquifer here. So this is going to give us water through a partnership with Chester Water Authority to supply to the town of Rising Sun, and to a lot of this area here, we will be a distributor in some way of drinking water. This area has not been served properly. A lot of the business is going up and down the Route 40 corridor, which is a good place for growth. That's a big commercial hub up and down Route 40 from Elkton down to Perryville. And you've seen a lot of growth going on out there, and we've had a lot of people in waiting here. We've had a major lawsuit a few years ago when Mayor Marion and Commissioner Warnick and I first came into office. We were right into negotiations for a lawsuit over a property that felt that because there wasn't enough water and sewer to supply it, that we had almost taken their value of their property. And we settled that and got that behind us, and it's done. And now that property belongs to a new local business owner, and we're looking forward to what's going to happen there. So next week we have a little ceremonial groundbreaking going on, and then over the next month there'll be mobilization of equipment with full construction to start in early June. And that's been, like I said, a long time coming. We're very excited, and this board is doing everything it can to reduce the impact on residents of the cost of our water. And as you see, the town is starting to grow with the Vanderhoffs taking over Bud McFadden's building and the old Sun Cellular building. There's not any, except for some buildings that are unoccupiable in this community, we're full. We're doing pretty good. And we look forward to continuing to support new businesses coming in. As Mayor Marion said, we will now be open for business. We've spent the time, Commissioner Braun has spent a lot of time, as well as Commissioner Hemmer, on the planning board preparing for what's going to happen. And we don't look to explode like areas of Hartford County, but people want to live here. We got great schools, we got a great police department, it's safe, it's a clean community. People want to get out of the hustle and bustle, and they want to come to this area and live. And we're looking forward to it, and we're planning for it. So I think that's all I got tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Autenreith. Commissioner Braun.
I have no report.
Commissioner Pearson.
Well, he said took a good portion of mine. Just a reminder that we have a drug drop-off box here continuously. The chief periodically empties it and takes it and disposes of it where it needs to be. And again, if you have sharps besides Martins, you can take them to the county landfill. Another thing, just to emphasize with the Little League, you know, I've had my kids through the Little League, I've had my grandkids through the Little League, and we're really lucky in this area for that Little League. First of all, Joe Smith is a nationally recognized umpire and actually does the annual Little League World Series. He's been selected several times. So it shows you the grade of competence that our Little League has. And this is kind of leading into what I really want to say. We have that great park down there. And kids go down there and play, okay? Sometimes they go down there without their parents, without other people. It's natural for kids to do this. However, it's been brought to the chief's and my attention that some parents feel that that's not right, that they shouldn't be down there unsupervised. The position of our police department is we're not parents. If your parents say it's okay for you to go down there, it may not be exactly what you believe in, but if their kids say are okay to be there, then you really don't want the police involved in the fact that you have free roaming kids down there. It truly is not illegal to do that. And I know, I live in Summer Hill, my kids used to bike over there. Right?
I mean, I'm down there playing all the time, Augie. So.
Yes, well, yes, but we also realize you're never mind. Child at heart here. So please understand, we're here to protect you. If there is a problem where someone is being bothered, please call us. But just because you see unattended children, please, it's not our parental responsibility. They may be there because their parents said they could be there. That summarizes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pearson. Commissioner Warnick.
Yep. So there's and just Mr. Mayor, for the record, when I see you at the park, I'll let your mom know that you're okay. So.
Thank you very much.
But actually, I'd like to congratulate the mayor on his recent election to vice president of the Hartford Cecil MML chapter. So, congratulations. A couple of things. I mean, the parks are actually finally starting to dry out. The park project that's been going on in Veterans Park since last year, and they had to stop due to the pond that developed in the middle of the park. They finally gave up on the idea that that pond was ever going to dry out, and they came up with an alternative solution. We thank you, Public Works Director Ron, for grabbing some. I feel kind of weird just saying Public Works Director. Public Works Director Thomas, we'll go with this for grabbing the pipe and everything to get that done, and I see they got that done. It looks great. So I think with that and some erosion stuff that they recently fixed, I think that project's pretty well wrapped up. You'll see some bridges and things going in here soon, and we got a lot of stuff planned for that park this year. Over at the dog park, the Girl Scouts came in last night. They got a hold of me Sunday night and asked if they could do a park cleanup and plant flowers. I suggested this weekend. They suggested last night. So we compromised on last night. I've learned as years of being married to a Girl Scout troop leader, that's how we do things. They did a great job planting flowers around the sign. So And they picked up about 3 bags of trash. They actually complained that our parks weren't dirty enough. So next event, we'll make sure to go down. I'll have you go dump some trash down in advance for them. So give them some good, they like some treasures to find. They did find some interesting things. I'm not going to say what they found. We have a park cleanup scheduled this Saturday at 9 a.m. at Veterans Park. It's the Project Clean Stream event. It's posted on Facebook as of like an hour ago. It's actually sponsored in part with the Octorara Watershed Association. So our good friend Rupert Rossetti is the one that leads this. And this year I was talking to Rupert, and normally we do it the weekend of Earth Day. And that always conflicts with the Tiger Trot. So this year we actually pushed it out a week so that we weren't conflicting with Tiger Trot this year. So I welcome any of our runners in the Tiger Trot to come out and volunteer. And we're just come out and hang out,
Judge
whatever.
Davis.
And but it's a great event. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people on hand that can explain all the project. I mean, we'll actually probably go through everything that's recently happened within the last year in the park, explain all the stormwater management improvements and environmental features that we've recently added. So I'm sure that'll be a part of what we talk about this year during the Project Clean Stream event, 9 a.m. to noon this Saturday. Additionally, we have the 2 Eagle Scouts that are working. Oh, and by the way, the Girl Scout troop was Troop 1143. The 2 Eagle Scouts that are working on the boardwalk over at the dog park, I met with them. They changed troops, so I've signed off on their paperwork for the new troop, and they plan to get started in June. So we're coming along on that. And the Eagle Scout that's working on the boardwalk in Veterans Park changed troops, and I don't have an exact start date yet.
Okay.
So we're working on that. And I think that's all I have for tonight.
All right.
Thank
you, Commissioner Warnick. Just a reminder, we have a Planning Commission open house on Monday, May the 7th, and that's at 6:30 p.m. We also have our next town meeting, which is Tuesday, May 8th, and that is also at 7 p.m. Is there any more business to come before the board this evening?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Warnick, the Chamber's Fishing Derby, do you have a date for that? Isn't that coming up?
It is May
The first Saturday
5th or
in
12th. I do have it actually.
Jane? Isn't it the first Saturday? Weren't we straightened out on it?
I think it's May the 5th.
I think it's the 5th.
Is it the
It's
5th?
May 5th.
Yeah, May 5th.
You can check out on Facebook as well. The Chamber has it posted up there.
That's another great family event that I've seen. Looking forward to being down there. and
Yeah, from
participating.
8 a.m. to noon on May 5th. Yeah, May 5th.
Okay,
Saturday
perfect.
morning.
Is there any other business to come before the board? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
There's also a town hall on school safety, May 2nd at the School of Tech,
Thank you.
6
Perfect.
p.m.
Is there any other business to come before the board this evening? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make
So
a
moved.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.